throw the pen. Shall we rise for the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone. We have minutes of our Board of Selectmen's meeting held on June 5th. Can I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No opposition? No. Hearing none.
We also, sorry, Chairman, we have Vice Chairman O'Hare on Zoom. He could not be with us in person.
All right. Morning, Travis. I can't hear
You
you.
talking
Can't
to
hear me, not talking to me.
I like that Zoom, works good.
It says it's frozen.
It's frozen. All right, Travis is frozen. Then we have minutes of our Board of Selectmen held on June 5th, and this would be non-public. Could I have a motion to accept those?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none. Thank you. Sunny. Under new business, we have an appointment of our Assistant Fire Chief. Would you like to come forward? Yeah. Aren't you going to,
More or less, yeah, we're just finalizing, I guess.
yeah?
We're just finalizing that Chief Pickowitz is gonna be the deputy in emergency management director. So basically, in the absence of myself during an event, he will be able to assume all the responsibilities.
So you're still the
I'm the
emergency,
emergency management director, yes,
he's gonna,
which I was the deputy director before, and moved up, and now I'm, so.
It's a housekeeping requirement from Department of Safety.
All right.
So we have to appoint him in a meeting.
okay.
And I do have a motion for you.
Would someone like to read that motion? I'll read, or Sonny,
I'll make
go.
a motion to appoint Assistant Fire Chief Donald Pickowitz as Deputy Emergency Management Director.
To have a second? I will second.
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? No. Congratulations.
That was fast.
SRO.
That's school resource officer.
I know.
Oh, I thought it was a test, I'm sorry.
Oh, this is a test. Are you going to speak in regards to this, Chief?
Nope.
No?
So
He isn't.
I have.
No.
This was my collaborative effort with Evan. So Evan brought it to my attention that SRO officer Stephen Colford was recognized by the high school. So I have just a little something I want to read.
Okay.
So I wanted to give some praise and acknowledgement to our school resource officer Stephen Colford. This year, the senior class voted for him to have their high school yearbook dedicated to him. He was also asked to be the commencement speaker at their high school graduation, and a video that can be found online. And I'd like to read a little excerpt from the yearbook, and this is what the kids wrote. We thank you, Officer Steve, for being a part of the Belmont High School community and making our school feel very safe. We will always be grateful for your protection and kindness, and of course, your occasional Chuck Norris jokes. The Belmont High School community will be forever grateful for you. I just feel acknowledgement of our staff when they are recognized by the community is important, and I just wanted to let the community know who are watching and reading.
Awesome.
He's been doing a great job, basically to all three schools, and he's been a great addition.
Now, he's off for the summer, correct?
This summer, he'll start back in.
He'll start back in August,
He's off, but he's not off, he still has
some court things or
events
whatever.
coming up, of
Yeah.
course, and,
He's really writing another book.
I think that's
He has,
it.
he has two now. He's published two children's books. And
Really?
He's working on a third.
Awesome. Well, this is great to think that the kids, you know,
He's making an impact.
he's making it. Oh, great.
You should take a copy of that letter and release it both to the Sun and to the paper of the Winnisquam Echo.
Yeah,
That would be a heck of a news article.
It would be a good
Some good news.
mhm. And it was, I have to comment while we're on, please, your officer that rescued the lady with her child. This, yeah, it was, I love the picture. I mean, there he is holding the, that was just awesome. That was, you know, and thankfully the comments were not negative on Facebook. They were very positive, very in support of the police department and all that they do. And I think that's, in light of everything that we just went through in March, that was awesome. Awesome. All right. Conservation Commission appointment.
You have a request for a reappointment for Georgina Lambert as a full member to the Conservation Commission.
Okay.
If you agree, there is a motion.
Could I have would someone like to read that motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the reappointment of Georgina Lambert as a full member of the Conservation Commission with a term to expire in 2027.
Could I have a second on that?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none. Our next item is cemetery trustee appointment.
So I was approached by the cemetery trustee, a member of the cemetery trustees, and at one of their past meetings, it was brought, their current member, Kyle Dodge has,
Resigned.
resigned due to his, residency not meeting their requirements. So at their, meeting, they approved to appoint Sharon Chimpy as, to fill his seat, and his term does expire in 2025. Part of their, discussions was, they wanted to bring it to your attention where, would you like to agree with their appointment and appoint Sharon, or they would be willing to have the other members of the cemetery trustees come to a night meeting, the other two work, so they can't come to day meetings. If you wanted them to plead their case as to why they would like to appoint Sharon, or you could do it today, it's totally up to you. And I did provide you, I did have some letters that were sent to us, just giving Sharon some kudos as to things she had helped some residents with.
My only question, and it's just for my own informational thing, is that, and I know that being on the board of the South Road Cemetery, we ran into an issue because I know her daughter's part, I believe, is it your son, Sharon, that is hired, that does the cleaning? Is that does that become an issue? Because it did become an issue for us, and we had to actually, we had too many relatives, so to speak, on our board, and we had to back away. But that's probably different with this particular.
So they do recuse themselves from voting on his contract, so that would leave,
Just two?
would you still have a majority or no?
Yeah, because it's still a 3-person board. She recuses herself. I have always recused myself of anything. And then we seat, that's why we have the alternates.
The alternates.
We use Norma
Got
or
it.
Kevin, and we seat them.
Got it.
And we tell them what's going on.
Okay.
And then we let them
Okay,
decide.
all right,
And
that was my only concern, because that did become an issue with us at one point too. Okay, all right. Any other comments? I'll make the motion to appoint Sharon Champy as a full member of the cemetery trustees to serve out the remainder of resigning member Kyle Dodge's term expiring in 2025. Can I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Abstain.
Yeah, she, right, and no opposition. Okay. Ballot counting device funding, that would be Jen, thank you.
Yes, so our current ballot counting device is no longer supported, the technology is obsolete, and so the state is requiring that we purchase a new ballot counting device by next year, the town election. We but the Town of Belmont has hosted a demo for each of the machines, which went very well, very informative, very well attended. The cost of each machine is around $7,000. We have had ballot articles to raise money for a special fund because we also need new voting booths, and we have more registered voters, so we need to accommodate for that. The Secretary of State's office, there's a program being offered by the Secretary of State's office, which is available through June 30th next year to help municipalities in purchasing the new ballot counting devices. It's funded by HAVA, Help America's Vote Act. We can receive $3,500 per ballot machine from the Secretary of State's office. It's a really hard application process. We have to send an email stating the name of our town, which vendor we're going to use, and when we expect to make the purchase. So it's pretty much a given. We have a meeting scheduled for the 10th between Al Nix, our moderator, and our supervisor's checklist, and myself to go over, because they were all in attendance of both demos, to go over which machine that we feel best serves us, that we can work the best with, and then we'll present that decision to you guys and go from there. But yeah, it's awesome.
And we already have those monies set aside, correct?
We do.
And if we get the 3,500,
Right.
then that means the remainders of those monies could go to purchasing our voting booths that we're
Our voting booths, and other supplies that are required,
Needed for
like,
this.
Towards our service contract, because these machines, you have to have a service contract, and yeah, it's great to have that, because now we're not scrambling since.
So is it, I assume it's more user-friendly than the last one, because we had to get a new chip every year, correct? Or
There's
every,
so LHS, which is our current, provider,
okay,
their new machine is very, very, very similar to the one that we use now. So
Okay.
you still have to
Get
get
the
the
chip.
chips coded and so on and so
All right.
forth. But it's no longer a chip. It's a USB drive.
okay,
And it's more user friendly.
Okay.
And the other one is just totally high tech bonkers, pretty cool. It makes like noises when you put your ballot in. It's pretty interesting. I feel like I shouldn't say my opinion on that.
Yeah.
So I won't.
Yeah.
But yeah,
all right,
very interesting stuff.
all right, awesome.
So if you would like to,
Oh.
agree to have her go forward with the grant request.
Oh, yeah, we never not agree to go, that's a given. Oh, okay, so I'll make a motion that we give Jen permission to move forward with the possibility of getting a grant for $3,500 to the voting machine. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I don't think there's any opposition with this one.
Thank you.
Okay. Old Home Day donation acceptance.
Yes, yesterday I received a donation from the American Legion in the amount of $300. They would like the funds to go towards Old Home Day, and they stated that we can use it as we feel we need it.
Okay. And so all we need to do is to accept those funds, correct?
And I have that motion for you.
All right. Sharon, would you like to read that motion?
Sure, I make a motion to accept a donation in the amount of $300 from American Legion Post 58 for the purpose of funding Old Home Day per RSA 31:95-E:2.
And I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none. Any other new business?
No.
Okay. On to old business. Budget update.
Yes, this is my monthly update of where we stand with our default budget. This is for June, so June being the halfway point, we should be at 50% spent in our budget, and we are at 45. 5% under budget doesn't sound like a lot, but it really is a lot. I don't know if Travis can still hear me. I think he lost connectivity, but at our last meeting, he had asked if there was any areas of concern in the budget. I don't think there's any areas of concern. The areas that are overspent are things that were consultants. Those were unplanned. We had hired a consultant to assist with the audit and the newly appointed finance director. We also had to hire a part-time building code enforcement officer for a period of time, so that was something that was unexpected that we didn't budget for. We have some carryover legal expenses from '23 that we got hit with in '24, just because of the way the billings worked out, and those ongoing legal issues has carried forward into '24, so unfortunately, my legal is higher than normal and anticipated, and, the professional services, which I said was the building inspector, and then, the items associated with the increase in the wages, which that is.
Are we still using the person that's helping Steve?
Yes,
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, and that's going well?
that is going well,
All right, good,
so I am just happy that we are under budget.
all right. And obviously, thank you to the department heads, because obviously we wouldn't be under budget if we weren't all just watching our bottom line, I guess, for lack of anything else.
Yeah.
All right, appreciate that.
And then with
Oh.
that, I guess I can either do it now or later, but I just wanted to update you where we are on our, PDIP account.
Yep.
Before yesterday, we had, as of June 30th, we have earned $95,691 of interest. We haven't had a lot in the account, since, the beginning of the year.
But now the taxes have come in.
And yesterday, Steve and I moved $6 million into that account, and we figure in 1 month that will grow 38,000 of interest just in 1 month on that.
And
the
I don't think the
6 million.
legislature acted on that. Did,
I
what, where,
think it kind of went nowhere. So
Good.
they made some amendments to
But it's
it.
coming back.
but it's coming
It
back.
will come back, they said, for
Yeah.
sure. They made amendments where they said they had to make reasonable effort to invest in New Hampshire, but we all know the bankers will come back and try to
Sure.
change and manipulate it. But for
Sure.
this, for the next few years, we're safe.
Okay.
And that interest rate is 5.34%. I'm always, Steve always rags on me because I'm always like, give me the money, give me the money. And, you know, we were adamant about getting the money deposited as soon as possible before the holiday. If we had waited a week, we would have lost $6,000 in interest. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but $6,000 in a week, that's a lot.
It is in this
Yeah,
particular
it is,
case.
yeah.
It is right now for us, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
And
Awesome.
in the, what did I put my? And then in our, oh, hold on, I think I lost my, for the, oh, and then in our capital reserve funds, our trustees, I never usually report on those, but I figured why not? The capital reserve funds that we have, all the warrant articles essentially, we have roughly 4.5 million in those funds, and we have earned so far in '24 almost 20,000 in interest on those trustees of the trust fund and capital reserves.
Awesome, all right, good. Every little bit counts at this point, that's for sure. Okay, well, number 4. It's Doug. I heard it being dug.
Yeah, we have a long ways to go, but just a
Of
brief
course.
update. So, as you know, the ARPA funds that we're using to fund the new well, the well is basically dug. They do, so in that process, they do samples every 2 to 5 feet. So they double up on the sample. So HydroSource has a lab in Meredith, and then Barry Miller, who's in charge of doing the well, has his own lab out, or he sends his findings from these samples out to develop the screen for the well. So that's in the process. I heard the sieve samples are done. It's quite a complicated process. You know, it determines the material that they will put inside the well, the gravel pack material. So it's pretty crucial. So that after that's done, they'll start developing the well, pump size and stuff
Screen
like that.
size,
Well,
that's what the sieve,
the sieve
Yeah.
analysis, that's
Yep.
what that does.
Yep.
We had very good samples at the bottom of the well, so, I mean, things are looking very good, we're gonna have a really good quality well, so.
Good.
Yeah, things are moving along. It's a slow process, so, you know, we waited a while, we put well 1, the old well 1 is back online now. And that should be online for another few weeks, hopefully, and then, when we get the screen ordered, you know. What will happen is HydroSource and Berry Miller Wells, they'll get together and
And what's the state's timeline? Because I know DES tends to be.
Well, once we have to have everything like lined up as far as pump specs and all that stuff.
Okay.
We have to have like the information before December. So-
Now, do they get involved with all of that, or do they just get involved with the testing part of it at the end?
They will be involved in the testing. I mean,
Yeah.
it'll have to go through certain criteria for us to put the well online.
Yep, yep.
So certain tests, but,
Yeah.
no, it's a good thing. It's, and it looks like, our bid came in, we got a great bid from Barry Miller Wells. I mean, it was a super low bid, so I think we're gonna have plenty of funding to
Cover
move
cover
forward
all the,
and cover
good,
all the other expenses.
awesome, good,
Okay.
all right,
I'll keep you posted.
thank you. Do we have any other old business, Alicia?
Yes, I've asked Jen, town clerk, tax collector, to just give us an update on the water and sewer shut-offs that we
Oh,
reported
yeah.
to you guys the last time.
Yes, you know what?
Forgot about that.
No, I just need.
She needs her glasses.
I do,
Yeah.
it's terrible. I got LASIK and now I can't see up close. So basically, in mid-June, we sent out disconnect notices to 16 properties that were seriously in arrears of their water and sewer bills. The back owed utilities totaled roughly $29,600, which is a huge amount of money. In the letter, I gave the property owners 10 days to pay their total back due, or their service would be disconnected. I accepted, at the 10 days, I was willing to accept 50% of bills, because the bills were high. I mean, we're talking like, most of them over $2,000. So at the 10-day mark, which was June 17th, I accepted half and gave them 20 days to pay the balance. The back owed utilities that we collected as of June 17th was a little over 14,000, so that's right in line with half. Service was shut off to 3 properties. 2 of the property owners paid that same day and had their water and sewer restored, and there's one that he reached out to me but hasn't come in with any money, so Craig and Brian are checking on it, make sure he's not, doing something weird.
Illegal.
Yes, illegal is the word I was looking for. Thank you. The 20-day mark is next Monday, which, funny enough, is when the water and sewer bills are due. So, I can update you guys after that and let you know, but it's just to the point where we can't just accept not paying your bill for 4 or 5 years. So,
Yep, well, awesome, half of it.
yeah, we're
See
we're
what
getting
happens.
there. Absolutely. And in other fun collector news, as you know, taxes were due yesterday. We had committed approximately $11.4 million between regular property taxes, utilities, and the Sunray Shores District. As of yesterday, taxes collected were $10,425,354.84, totaling about 92% of the total commitment. So that's fun news, and it goes in line with the PDIP and all of the things.
Awesome.
So we've been working really hard, so today's, it's kind of nice, it's a slow day.
Good, awesome,
All right,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
good.
Yep.
Can't complain about that, that's for sure. Any other old business?
Nope, that's all I have.
All right, before I forget, what?
Did you want an update on lockers as part of your old?
Sure, you can,
Just
you,
to
yeah,
give you a quick update.
of course,
Just so we had some numbers, I know we didn't get to talk, we didn't have the June meeting.
It doesn't look like it's changed, I went by the other day.
No, well, we had a couple of companies come out, just to
Okay.
get some numbers, just so you had some numbers to kind of, work within your head. We had one company come out and give a price to purchase some of the vehicles, just the vehicles. And the numbers they gave us range between $200 and about $500 per vehicle, totaling about $7,500 that will be coming in for getting rid of the vehicles that are there on site. Whether, it doesn't matter they have fluid in them or not, they'll take them and obviously drain them, do what they need to do to meet that requirement. We also had a junk company come out. Glenn spent another lovely hot afternoon wandering through and giving the gentleman the tour. And the quote that we received was about $12,500 for all the junk. That does not include the tires, that's just tractors, the whatever's there, the junk out, basically, pretty much everything that's in the front. And with the vehicles, that does not include a few of the cars that are way, way in the back, because to get to them would just be not cost effective for that gentleman. And the last bit of information as far as the tires, because there are so many tires out there. The quote that we received kind of across the board is approximately $250 a ton, 10-ton minimum, so you have $2,500. And with the number of tires that's out there, we'd probably hit the minimum without too much issue. But I just wanted to kind of bring that forward, give you some kind of numbers to kind of rattle around in your head, think about, do you want us to proceed with
So let's start over again. So you're saying your first,
incoming for the cars?
Okay.
Incoming money that the person would purchase is approximately $7,500.
okay,
Outgoing for the junk removal would be $12,500.
yeah,
And then looking at if it's only the minimum, it would be $2,500 outgoing because it's $250 a ton for the tires. And that's the one that we,
I'm just back and forth.
You're in the hole about 50 grand right now.
But I know,
Just guessing.
yeah,
so.
okay,
But like I said, just something to kind of,
yep,
I just wanted to put some actual numbers to it
Okay.
because it's so hard. Like I said, these people actually went to the site, have looked at it. It's not just us telling them,
Sure.
this is what that they have walked in.
But you made a statement about the cars that have been there the longest. They're way out
Like
back.
the Volkswagen that's all the way out in the trees.
Yep. So we
you know.
still gotta deal with that, the expensive
Yeah,
ones.
those would be, but the ones that are immediately accessible in and around the house and down there are a few that are down the path that would just require a few saplings just to be removed to get to them. There's an old dump truck, an old tow truck in the woods that needs to be removed, and that would be part of the,
Well, they all gotta go. If we're gonna,
Yes,
if we're
yes.
gonna take over the property, it's gotta be cleaned.
right. These are the ones that, that this gentleman could take without question. So, yes, you still have a couple more back there, but this would be the bulk of what
When do we have a legal right to start doing this?
you did as of May 1.
Yeah.
Can we have him exit the property or does he stay there?
As far as I understand, he stays, and if he tells us to leave, we have to leave. We would have to go back and forth if I understand it correctly. Yes, I know.
There's a word for this, but we can't use it in this room.
No,
But
so
it
you're
starts with the word
saying-
cluster.
So you're saying if we hired this guy and he's willing to pay us, let's just say $200 a vehicle,
and he goes
and
in
he
there-
shows up and this guy goes out and says, leave, he's gotta leave.
And then we come back.
Then we come back basically with a court order.
And that police already have a court order, but.
Court order and a police
Yes.
escort.
Court order, police escort.
Is this, and I'm just asking, this guy that's willing to pay us for these cars, is he local?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just asking,
No,
because
no.
I don't want somebody to come from,
No, he's
northern
local.
Maine or something
No,
and
he's
then,
local. No, and
Okay.
he kind of knows the situation.
okay, all right.
That might be your best first step if he's gonna, and I'm assuming he's probably.
That's a
gonna
good way to
take
find-
Everything in the front.
But the front would be junk,
Right, that would be the junk removal.
that would be the junk guy. I mean, the
All of-
vehicles,
So the vehicles in the front. he's
There's
gonna
only a
take.
handful of vehicles in the front.
And
Most
they're
of
in
them
pieces.
are behind the house.
I mean, they're wrecks, they're pieces, they're junk.
Right, but it still might be a good start. If he's local,
Well,
it's
if we-
okay
right.
for him
Oh,
to
as far
take
as the
that
car
one guy
goes,
off. If
cars
he can like
go.
snag the red one in the front.
If you
just to
remove
see.
some of the vehicles, one, it would give you the money to help offset the junk.
That's what
removal
I'm-
cost, but also get the vehicles out that are still in
so,
fairly reasonable condition and are probably still holding their fluids to get them out before they start
yeah,
massively leaking and create even worse of a problem that's already there.
Mhm.
The bulk of those vehicles is, if you're kind of looking at the house, like directly behind the house, I mean, you can go, our 99 photos.
Yeah.
But most of them are behind the house and off and down that kind of path to the left. Now, obviously, there's a gate there with a padlock that he says he doesn't, or a combination lock he says he doesn't have a key to. Obviously, the solution to that is we cut the lock and just replace it with, and provide him one, obviously, but.
I think before we do anything, we should have possession of the property.
No, you have a court order to go and clean all this stuff up, you don't have.
We
Well,
don't
the court order isn't worth the paper it's written on if he can walk out and say, stop.
Yeah, well, then they just get another one to enforce it.
Well, then we better be talking to the attorney and make sure we have another one ready here, pronto, because it's gonna be a waste of money and a waste of time. If a guy comes in here with his equipment to start hauling this stuff out,
Right, to this point in time, he has been, I mean, obviously, we get the comments, you're taking my home, and we try to explain, no, we're not taking your house, we're cleaning up the yard. So we do get some comments to that effect, but he hasn't just to leave.
But at this point, we're doing something that I don't wanna do. I don't wanna clean it up so he can sell it. I don't want us to spend a dime cleaning that property up so he can sell it. If we're gonna clean it, we're gonna own it.
Well, you still have that
Yeah, you
$140,000 attachment, so even if he does sell it, he still owes us the $140,000
I was just saying,
or
the
whatever it is.
property's got.
I'd rather exercise that
And the other
attachment.
problem is, John, no matter what, even if we own it, we have to pay, we can only keep, remember, we can only retain what we have expensed.
Exactly, I understand that, but we'll keep the expenses out there because we have to clean some of that land up. Cause a lot of those cars have been sitting on the chassis with the tires flat, the oil pans are probably rusted out, so when you do pick them up and move them, you're gonna have an oil spot. And if you're gonna sell the property to anybody, whether he's gonna sell it or we're gonna sell it, you gotta have the ground clean, you just can't sell that stuff anymore.
We wouldn't want that responsibility, so.
Well, we're gonna get it if we take it.
We can let him sell it and have the responsibility.
And then we have the
So-
lien.
so-
So you can only take it if he doesn't pay his taxes, and you lien and take his property, which he's current and up to date on his property. So the only thing we can do is have the lien and the attachment on the property for everything he owes us.
How often
His
is it?
taxes are paid up presently.
Oh, yeah. How often do we update that lien?
It would be, as soon as we get the bills from the companies, it's automatic.
It's automatic,
It's
okay.
That amount, because the way, I have to reread the ruling, but typically it's whatever amount is.
And what prevents him, and this is just, okay, so we have,
Wait again?
I mean, right.
We
What,
do his
pre-
job.
what prevents him from, we
Nothing.
have
Absolutely
nothing,
Unfortunately.
other than the fact that if he brings in more vehicles, we can back up, I guess, and take the vehicles off, right? Okay.
Kind of food for thought at this moment.
Okay, all right. All right. Gee, thanks. Now we have no other business?
I just have a few items in non-public,
Okay.
unless there's any public.
So our next meeting date is July 17th. And I guess I'll wish everyone a nice 4th. It sounds like the weather's going to be hot and muggy, which is July 4th weather, right? So we all wait for all winter. We have to move on to non-public.
Ruth,
oh,
right,
I'm
looks
sorry.
like there's public
Oh.
comment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, if you'll come forward.
Thank you.
Sorry. Oh, I skipped right over public comments, sorry.
It is okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to speak today.
All right, and you are?
My name is Trudy Smith, and this is Samantha Butterworth.
All right. And you live where?
So I own the property at 366 Depot Street
Mm-hmm.
in Belmont.
Okay.
And the reason I'm coming forward is in January through March, when I upgraded the property, I asked for an assessment. This is the first town where you guys have a third party, you don't come in and assess. So I was told that that's not the way you do it, and that's fine. However, I recently listed the property. I had a bank appraiser come in, and based off of the information on the town stuff, they appraised it at 170. It was based off of only the information on the town and not the house itself. Unfortunately, the information is incorrect. The square footage listed is like I can have the exact numbers, but I wasn't prepared. So it's 700 square feet versus 1,200 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
One bathroom versus 2 bathrooms, et cetera, et cetera. So the house report, I spent $1,000 getting the house appraised, and it came back at $358 versus the information based on the town report of $177,000.
Mm-hmm.
I lost the deal of the house based off the information. My problem and my comment is that I have been trying since January to get an appraisal or information third party from your contractors, or even place an appraisal on either the building inspectors or the appraisal account, but it doesn't seem like anybody knows what to do on taking an actual house appraisal. So when a new person comes in and a bank appraisal from out of town comes in, they are going to, yet again, appraise it off of the incorrect information on my account. Now, I know this is weird, but I have been begging for my appraisal, which will give you guys money. And it is a bigger assessment than $170. 177 to what I wanted appraised at 355.
Oh,
Or
that's a,
358.
but
I have a
isn't that,
question, you said you did improvements.
I did,
Did
but
you do a
nothing.
building permit
Yes, ma'am,
for that? So then it should have gotten picked up for,
but it has not.
but it won't get picked up till April first.
So
It would be
I
April.
haven't spoke with you at all before today, so I'm not aware of any of this happening, and I am the assessing administrator.
So in December and January, when we were completing the house, I called assessment. I don't know if I spoke with you, but I was told that, at the current time, I said I'd like an assessment, you know, usually in a different town that we would call the assessment would come out and go through our house. I was told at the time, in this town, that it's a third-party contract and that I would have to wait. And that's not how you guys do it here. And that's
Correct.
fine, except for the problem that I come into, that incorrect information is on the account that is costing you guys money and is now costing me money. So my public comment today is, there has got to be something that can be done when there's a case of incorrect information, or when somebody wants to give you more money, and have some information corrected. That's what I'm here about today.
so there is a means, and it would be an abatement. So as a property owner, if you pull your property record card, which I see you have in front of you, and if there is incorrect information, it is on the homeowner to file an abatement to have those corrected. Unfortunately, that process only happens one time a year, and that's after you receive your fall tax bills and before March first. So I don't know if you did or did not do that, but that would be that path to fix that. And then the second thing is, if, depending on when you pulled your building permit and when the assessor goes out to check those, would be when he would have picked up basically your improvements, made adjustments to your card, and those would have, you said this last fall, so he would have picked them up this April, so those adjustments wouldn't have been made until basically right now, which don't get posted until, actually they were posted for the April bill. So if that path did happen, it should be reflected on your card as of now.
And typically that would be correct. However, this was done back in March before April. It wasn't picked up because there's a backload of your third-party contracts, and they may not get to me this year.
That's not true. If it was
That's what I was
if it was a building permit, and they get a list from us that says, okay, these are all the building permits, you have to go out and inspect it, because it's, either a new build or a new construction, or whatever the case may be, they have to go out and look at those. If they, again, you have not spoken to Colleen, so this is not the means to address that right this second. So if you come in and talk to Colleen, then she can pull the file, see if they actually did get the order to go to your property.
I understand what you're saying, but once a year, I'm sorry, I don't.
That's how we
I
do
don't-
it in this town.
Sorry,
And
I
that's
was just
how
talking, I'm sorry.
This is
you're
how the
interrupting
process
me.
that gets done in Belmont, sorry.
I understand it's a one-time process, however, this is going on a little bit longer than a one-time process. And I'm just saying that when the attention is brought to you that the actual information on here is incorrect, and I understand your abatement, but I've already talked to you guys at last year. So whoever was in there told me the information that I have provided you. I'm just saying that it's really difficult trying to get something updated here. And there has got to be some kind of resolution process other than a one-time a year. So now I have to wait for fall. But yet, I've already gone through the process, and I've already had the permit in.
Colleen is happy to look at your file and the paperwork that you have supplied when she gets back to the office.
The
So if you can
other point
make-
is, in the meantime of the I'm sorry.
Okay.
The one-time process a year, there should be an exception to be able to at least take the appraisers or the home appraisers and put it on file, so noting that until your third-party contractor can update the information, that there is more other information available. I mean, I did.
We'll take that under consideration.
Appreciate that, thank you.
All right, thank you. So we are moving into non-public.
Yes.
91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, letter
C.
C. Thank you all.